number 1 from this book together. The title of this book is 100 Numerical Games by Pierre Berlequin. Problem number 1 is a very exciting problem to solve. Let's see how it goes. It goes like that. Timothy spent all his money in 5 stores. In each store, he spent $1 more than half of what he had when he came in. How much did Timothy have when he entered the first store? Now, the solution for this problem is given in this book, but I don't really like the way they solve it. This is the solution right there. Okay, the reasoning goes like that. Timothy entered each store with twice as much the amount, which is $1 than he had when he left. Since he was broke when he left the 5th store, he entered it with 0 plus 1 times 2 equal $2. Likewise, when he entered the 4th store with 2 plus 1 and bracket times 2 equals 6. The 3rd store with 6 plus 1 and bracket times 2 equals 14. Basically, and so on. That's how Pierre Berlequin did solve the problem, but I don't really like it because to me it's hard to come up with this kind of reasoning to solve this problem. It's like you need to have a preconceived knowledge about the problem in order for you to be able to do this type of reasoning. I have solved it in a way that I think it make more sense, and anyway also which is, it is longer, but to me it is also easier. I start like this. Let's say Timothy spent half of his money in 5 stores, and each store he spent $1 more than half of what he had when he came. So how much did he spend? Did Timothy have when he entered the first store? So we don't know how much money Timothy had in his pocket when he started. So we call it X. Okay, so let's call X the amount of money owned by Timothy, the amount of money he had in his pocket when he started. We say when he entered the first store, he spent half of his money, of the money that he had in his pocket, plus $1. Or we can say, if we call it X, we say half of X plus 1, or 1 plus half of X. And when we solve the equation, we realize that in the first store he spent X plus 2 over 2. Now let's see the amount of money Timothy had when he left the first store. So since we know what he had when he started, which was X, so now we know in the first store he spent X plus 2 over 2. Now the amount of money that he left the first store with is x minus x over 2 x plus 2 over 2. And when we solve the equation, we get the amount of money he left the first store is x minus 2 over 2. Now let's see the amount of money that is spent in the second store. So now in the second store, what is spent? We know when he left the first store, the amount of money he had. We know when he entered the second store, he spent half of the amount of money plus 1. So it will be x minus 2 over 2 divided by 2 plus 1, or the inverse, which is the same thing, or 1 plus x over 2, x minus 2 over 2 divided by 2. And we find out when we solve the equation, in the second store he spent x plus 2 over 4. Now we are going to find out the amount of money he left the second store with. So we don't know the amount of money he spent in the first store, and we know the amount of money he spent in the second store. Now in order for us to find out the amount of money he left the second store with, we are going to subtract the amount of money he spent in the first store plus the amount of money he spent